back, everyone.
Welcome back. Episode 20 of...
Oh, I was gonna...
oh my podcast.
Yeah. Witches.
Legends.
Ghosts.
Oh, my.
Episode 20 is South Carolina.
What's your
Shout
name?
out to anyone from South Carolina. I'm Jade.
I'm Hunter. and we're friends.
Kinda.
Kinda. We're enemies.
We're enemies to
We're
lovers.
business partners.
And partner.
And partners. I had no clue where you're going with that, but I like the direction it went.
Thank you. What do you have for us?
I'm going first. I'm pretty excited about this one because I've never heard of it.
Okay.
But also there's this famous piece of art that is like based off of it.
Have you seen that?
I have seen the famous piece of art.
Interesting.
I don't know if you've ever seen the famous piece of art.
Probably not.
But it's based off of this, and I did not realize that. But, so, South Carolina, I'm going to be talking about the Boo Hag.
The Boo Hag.
I'm so excited. I feel like most of the creatures or folklore that I talk about is very, like, white people come up with it.
yeah, that's fair. Yep.
But this one is from African Americans, and I can say African Americans because they're slaves from Africa.
So literally,
so
yes.
literally African Americans.
Yes.
So a little bit of history. West African people were brought to the New World in the 1500s
Not just
for
brought,
slavery.
forced, taken.
Sorry, bought and brought.
Bought and yeah, you're right.
For slavery. And they were, some of them were brought and bought to Sullivan's Island in the Low Country, which the Low Country is what they call the Sea Islands of South Carolina.
Oh.
And so, yes.
Interesting.
I like that they have their own little name.
Yeah.
Like, Low Country.
Have you ever
No.
been?
I've never been to South Carolina, but everybody talks about South Carolina and, like, North Carolina and South Virginia.
I've only been to South Virginia.
Is there West Virginia?
West Virginia and Virginia.
Not South Virginia. West Virginia. South Carolina.
I've been to West Virginia. I've been to South Carolina. I actually have an aunt and uncle that live in South Carolina. And they live on Pawleys Island, which is only a...
Is it one of the Low Countries?
I don't know. I know that it's like a barrier island.
Oh, what does that mean?
That means it, like, catches any of, like, the bad shit before it hit, like, in the water before it hits land. So, like, they get hit really hard with stuff.
Yikes.
And the population on Pawleys Island is 122 people.
Really?
Yep.
That's, like, cute.
It is cute.
Little
tiny.
tiny...
Yeah. It's cool.
What do you call that? What do you call those? Like fish towns.
Yeah.
That's what they call them.
Yeah, but, like, fancy.
But,
Still really fancy.
yeah. No, of course. Anything
Anyway.
like that. So they were brought to Sullivan's Island.
Okay.
And then they worked on plantains. Well, can you really call it worked?
They weren't
working. They were forced to do things
on the plantations.
On the plantations.
Yeah, plantations, right.
And obviously, like, because of this, like, they've, like, it's like a community, like, slaves.
I mean, right.
They banded together.
I mean, yes.
Because that's what you have to do.
Right.
And because of that, over the centuries, a new culture was born, and, like, with its own language and own folklore.
Wow.
Yes,
that's
and it's
so
called
cool.
the Gula of South Carolina. Yeah.
Are there still people that speak it?
I think so, yeah.
So
but
cool.
this happens, I guess this happened a lot in, like, the Georgia, South Carolina, maybe even West Virginia, like, in the southern little, like, coastal towns. They, like, slaves brought over were making their own culture and their own language and their own folklore.
That's really cool.
And so the Gula is the South Carolina, like, community.
Okay.
And then the Geechee is a Georgia community.
Oh.
And then there's, like, other names for, like, the other communities.
That's really cool.
Because it's, like, the Geechee had... Even though they're all slaves brought in, but, like, the Geechee, obviously, Georgia, like, has their own, like, they made their own thing.
Right.
And then the Gula made, like, their own thing.
Yeah.
I think that's, like, obviously as sad and
yeah.
how horrible that they had to do that, but, like, new culture being, like, born from that, like, they literally made their own language. Like, that's crazy to think about.
And that makes sense that they would create their own language, too, because if they wanted to talk about possibly trying to escape or, like, whatever, something like that, they wouldn't the white people can't hear that, or
No.
else very bad thing.
Right?
So that
There's
makes a
no
lot of sense.
translators for gula.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just them.
it's just us, you guys. And so because they made their own like culture, their own folklore, they made the boo hag. So in the Low Country, a creature that's called the boo hag is a cross between a sleep paralysis demon and a vampire.
Oh God, it sounds awful already.
I'm going to show you, this is the famous piece of art that I'm going to show you. It's this. So the drawing is of a woman like sleeping, and she's like slumped over on the bed, and then the paralysis demon is sitting like on her chest, and there's like a ghosty
Demon
horse in the background. But yeah, I've seen this. I think
I've seen it before too.
Okay.
So the demon on her chest is supposed to be the boo hag.
That is the boo hag.
Got it.
In the Gula culture, they believe that people have both a spirit and a soul, which I think is so
and they're separate.
They're separate. So, like, when you die, your soul either ascends to hell or heaven, depending on the life you lived, obviously. But your spirit is supposed to stay behind and help guide your descendants. Yeah.
Dude.
Isn't that so cool? Like, I didn't think about that.
Stop. I love that. I wonder if other cultures think like that, because I love that.
I think it makes sense, because I feel like your soul is like the inside, but the spirit is always like a visual thing, right?
Right.
So I feel like the spirit would be like the physical, like your body part, but the soul is more like the thing that makes you, you know what I mean?
I think
that's how I
would think it would be a mix of both almost. Like the spirit has is not the soul obviously, but like it has parts of the soul, and it's just like still energy remnant of that person, and then the soul itself, like your memories, all of that stuff would go. Like
it's like a storage.
Your being
it's like would go to the iCloud. Like that's what I picture it. Yeah. And then like the spirit just kind of like is here and it has a connection to like your soul. That's how I would see that. But
that's so cool.
if you're so your spirit is supposed to stay behind and help guide your descendants. But if you made bad choices in life and your soul went to hell, then your spirit turns into a boo hag. Like over time, it like mutates into like a boo hag because you're like evil.
So like in Supernatural, when when ghosts stay around for too long in one area because they're like mad about something, they turn into like poltergeists or whatever because the anger twists.
Yeah, I would say it's something like that.
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
That is really cool.
I guess I didn't think about, like, if I were to believe in something like spirits and like souls or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think about like the bad ones are also here.
Yeah.
So like all that like anger, resentment, whatever, like mutates into something.
That's really cool. I really like that.
So boo hags are really disgusting.
Oh, goody.
I guess, so the famous painting is like a portrayal of it, I think.
Okay.
But in folklore, the Gula folklore, a boo hag is a skinless monster with red muscles and prominent blue veins.
Ew, I'm sorry. So it's just muscles.
It's just muscle.
Oh.
Like, I'm picturing noises, like, as it's crawling, it's like...
but like slimier.
Yeah.
Think of like mac and cheese.
Yes. But like if it was
like squelching.
And I'm picturing like, I don't even know what kind of liquid's dripping off, just like blood probably. And I guess they also have eyes that reflect light like a cat's. So
I really don't like them already.
Ew. Yeah. Sometimes the boo hags are depicted with like flowing white hair. I guess this is because...
Isn't it the follicle in the skin?
Yeah. So I guess I guess the white hair comes from hair growing on corpses. No, I guess it was hair, but people thought that nails and hair were growing on corpses just because the skin is dehydrating. So as it dehydrates, it like shrivels in. So it makes the nails and the hair look longer. But it's not. It just, the skin is sucked. It's really gross.
It's really disgusting.
So people think that that's sometimes why the folklore included like white flowing hair, because It's long hair, and your hair grows.
I don't like it.
Yep, it's gross. So boo hags would paralyze you in your sleep. So I guess they can fit into any little crack. Like, literally, I'm picturing it like you know how cats can, like, fit in, like, really small areas?
Yeah, or, like,
it's
octopi.
like that, but, like, yes, like, literally like that. Like, it's like that, but anything. There could be a crack in the wall, and the boo hag just, like, sucks in.
Ew, like in this...
Like in Santa Claus.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The Santa Claus when he...
And then he comes out the other side, like, yeah, that's what a boo hag does to get in. So
Cool.
really, you can't lock them out unless you're airtight in your house.
Yeah, they would for sure be in here.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Under the doors. Everybody's got a door that has a crack in the
Yes.
bottom. Like, hello.
And you're done. That's it.
True.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Boo hags also, they look human during the day. So during the day, they don't look like muscly and gross because because boo hags wear the skin of their victims.
Oh, goody.
So yeah, so it cloaks itself in its previous victim's skin and, like, walks around, but then at night it, like, leaves the skin and goes looking for its next victim. So it's disgusting.
So, like in Supernatural, the shapeshifter?
Yes. Everything. Let's just talk about Supernatural. This is
So this is a Supernatural podcast.
Guys. I'm a Dean girl.
I'm Castiel and Sam.
Yeah.
I'll have them both at the same time, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot that our parents listen to this.
Yeah. We want none of it. It's disgusting.
Ew, what is that?
We are pure beings. So once it gets inside, once the boo hag gets inside
Through
your
the crack.
house, through the cracks, it crawls on top of you and, like, sits on your chest.
I hate that.
Not to make it sexual, but they call this
oh god.
they call this the boon hag riding you.
Okay, yeah.
Because they just kind of sit on your chest and they suck the air from your lungs.
Like Dementors.
As you sleep. Yes. But they ride you.
But they're not, like, actually riding you.
No, they're sitting. Which is, I guess there's a famous saying among Lagula that's like, don't let the hag ride you. And that's what they're referring to. Means.
The boo hag.
Yeah, the boo hag.
That's so funny.
So, if you're lucky, you wake up after the boo hag. I want to keep saying boon. No, if you're lucky, you wake up the next day after the boo hag is, like, sucking some of your life form. You'll wake up, like, extremely exhausted. So a sign of a visit from the boo hag is somebody who slept all night but then got no rest.
That's me every night.
I'd be worried.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Got it.
But I guess how the boo hag gets, like, the skin, because you're like, oh, it shed its skin and then it sucked the life form out of me, but I woke up and I'm still alive. Well, I guess if you end up waking up while the boo hag is still sucking your soul and you try to escape or attack, it steals your skin. So it, like, just kills you.
Oh.
So if you try to attack, it's like, oh, time for you to die. And then
if you just let it happen.
Then it skins you. Yeah. But if you sleep through it, or if you wake up and just, like, chill there and let it happen, then you're good.
Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
No.
Dude. I had been having it since before I knew there was a name for it.
Really?
Yeah. And then as soon as I did, I was like, all of a sudden, all of these things just, like, made sense. But I would have it a lot. A lot of times, I had an episode is what I call it, but, like, literally at MSU one time when we, like, you were also in the room and I was taking a nap and I, like, couldn't, like, oh my god, I remember it so vividly.
Is this during the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was during the day. I was taking a nap. Probably like in the afternoon at some point. And I was like, the way that I had fallen asleep, I was like all wrapped up like this. And so something I've noticed is I get sleep paralysis, it makes sense, when I sleep in such a way that, like, I have no feeling in my arms or something. And so that's the way that I had fallen asleep. Because then when I eventually did wake up, all of my limbs were, like, the tingly kind of feeling you get after they've fallen asleep. And so I remember waking up and being aware, being able to like hear you like typing or whatever, but like I could not move, and it felt like someone else was in the room, and I like
that's horrifying.
Awful. Another time, same thing, I was napping at Kyle's parents' house. This is when he still lived there, and I remember it happening, and I was like desperately trying to scream out to Kyle because I could feel him. He was right next to me, and I just could, like, I was like, if I open my eyes, I know I'll be okay. I know I'll be okay if I can open my eyes.
So you can't even open your eyes?
No.
Oh.
I don't. So I know some people do.
No,
I can't even open my eyes.
That's horrible.
It's awful. So a lot of times now that I know what it is, when it does happen and I wake up and like realize I can't move, I'm just like, oh, I'm just going through sleep paralysis, and I'll just calm myself, breathe, and then go back to sleep. And then the next time I wake up, I'm fine.
Oh.
But when I was younger, I had some really bad sleep paralysis episodes where I thought I felt someone like crawling into the bed with me.
I don't like that.
Yeah. And like, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
So I don't get sleep. I don't know. I wouldn't call it sleep paralysis. I don't think I'd call it sleep paralysis.
Okay.
I mean, there have been times where I like wake up and I open my eyes and I'm like laying there. I know that I could move. I feel like I could move, but it's also that like, it's like a lot of effort and it's almost like I'm being held down. Like, I can't move, but also not, because I'm just sitting there. I'm just like thinking a lot of things, and then I'm like, oh, I could probably move now, and then I don't. And so then it takes a lot of like, I'm like, okay, we'll try and move, because I think it's like I'm afraid that I won't be able to move or something. So then I'm like, okay, on the count of 3, we're gonna like move, or we're gonna start by like moving our foot, and then I can do it, but it's not like I'm not afraid, and I'm just like chilling there thinking, and I'm like, I feel like. Because I feel like my body feels really heavy. So I feel like it'd be a lot of effort to move. Like a monumental task to move. And then it's not at all when I do move.
Right.
But I'm like, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's, I don't get sleep paralysis. But it's like.
It sounds kind of similar though.
Yeah, a little bit.
In the sense where like you really have to put a lot of effort into like moving and stuff.
Yeah. But I know that I can.
Yeah, see, for me, I can't. I'm like trying to wiggle my fingers or my toes, and I cannot. Or I'm like trying to like scream out, and I think that I am, but like then I asked Kyle afterwards, and he was like, "No, you weren't screaming."
Bodies are so weird. Like our brain has control over our bodies. Like you know what I mean? Like the signals and whatever.
Yeah.
But then like it's almost
just
like your
move,
body.
bro.
It's like your body's betraying you.
Yeah, just let me move, man.
Like I know we can do it. We do it every day. But not right now.
But right now,
your body's
you must
like,
stay.
no. Maybe later.
And
Try
no
again
one
later.
knows why it happens.
Nobody knows why it happens. Huh. Maybe it's the
boo hag.
It's the boo hag. So she's just invisible, I guess. Oh well, no. Actually, that would make a lot of sense
I can't open my eyes.
If she sucked your soul, and it says like you're gonna wake up feeling extremely exhausted. So maybe it feel like your body's too tired to move because your soul's been sucked.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. Boo hag.
Boo hag.
So there are a few things that you can do to keep the boo hag away, or to keep it from sucking the air out of your lungs. I guess you could place a lot, like the main, like
garlic
popular way is placing a broom near the door to your room, because the boo hag is forced to stop and count every bristle.
That's like with
no, stop. You can use, or you could use hairbrushes or colanders, because they're forced to like count the holes and whatever else. The goal is like to just distract it until the sun comes up, because I guess I didn't say, boo hags can't go out into the sun if they don't have their like a skin arm, and before they look for their next victim, they take it off. So they have to like take off the skin, go find their next victim, suck the air out, and then go back to their skin and put it back on. So
if you can distract them until the sun comes up and they die,
that, or I don't know if they just give up and they're like, okay, I don't have time for this. Gotta go back to my skin suit that I left down the road. Disgusting.
No time for this.
And I think you were going to say this, but it's like has a parallel to, I guess, European vampires or fairies who are also stopped by like leaving piles of rice or sand or salt, and they have to like count it.
Yeah, they have to count all the grains.
Dude.
Once again.
How awful.
Supernatural.
Literally.
They're the fairy and supernatural. They do that. They put the salt and then they're like, stop and are like counting.
What if you lose count? Oh no, you have to start over.
I know.
That'd be so painful. Sucks for them. I guess, while we're talking about salt, you can sprinkle salt over the boo hag as it sits on you. And I guess this makes it unable to return to its skin, so then it just is gonna die. But this is hard because if you wake up and you don't move, then you could survive. But if you wake up and you do move, then she's gonna kill you. But you have to, so you'd have to be like
really quick.
Yeah.
You'd have to have like salt right next to you, ready to go.
Yes.
So
or like in your hand.
Or like under your pillow. You just boom.
And then they just start screaming probably. That's what I picture like a
like the witch.
Like yes,
yeah.
exactly that. Thank you for knowing exactly what
absolutely. 100%.
But I guess the absolute best deterrent for these creatures or other angry spirits is a unique paint called Haint Blue. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So
never my entire life.
Okay, well, before I get into that, I'm going to give you the history about it.
Please do.
So, when European colonists came to the New World, they tried a whole bunch of different crops to, like, see what they could grow. Mm. And I guess indigo is a crop that's very labor intensive, but it's such a beautiful color that it was called blue gold. So, everybody wanted to plant indigo because they'd give them, like, huge amounts of money.
Got it.
And so, it was grown in Jamestown, it was grown in Virginia and New Amsterdam, which is what they called New York Skitty.
New York Skitty? New York Skitty.
Skitty that. New Amsterdam is what they called New York City, but it didn't grow in these areas, and it wasn't until Charleston, in the low country areas. So that's where the slaves were planting a lot of indigo.
Interesting.
And so that was like one of their main like sources.
Yeah.
So people thought, to the Gula people, blue is a sacred color, and it was helpful in warding off evil spirits. And so blue bottles, which I guess like glass dyed with like indigo, people would place it like on the end of tree branches to create bottle trees, and this would like capture ghosts, and they like would be stuck inside, like they can't get in because of like the blue color or something. I mean, they can't get out.
Whoa.
Because of the blue color. So it's weird because we have these type of things in Michigan. Like I've seen people with like trees.
Yeah,
I don't think they're real trees. I can't remember if they're real trees or if they're like metal, like looking like trees. But they have like blue bottles or different color bottles hanging on the edge of the branches, and I always thought they looked really pretty. But
I didn't realize there was like
there's like
significance
history
to it.
That's so cool. But I guess this specific color using indigo is called Haint Blue.
Haint Blue,
and it's called Haint Blue, we think, because in Gula, the word haint means spirit.
Oh.
So, Haint Blue, if you paint with Haint Blue, it, like, keeps the spirits and boo hags away.
That's really cool.
Because I guess the color confuses them.
Oh.
And they would think that they stumbled into a body of water, which they can't cross, or they stepped out into the open sky, which boo hags, like, they can't. Like, if they're in, they would die.
Right.
So the color, like, confused them and, like, deterred them, basically.
Interesting.
Isn't that so cool? So I have a picture of the color blue. It's like it's a pretty color. It's like it's almost like the color of the sky, like, which is why boo hags would be like, oh no, that's the sky.
That's the sky. I'm gonna die.
People would paint it. You could paint it like on walls or windowsills, but a lot of houses in this area have it painted on the ceiling. And so a lot of like ghosts or boo hags would apparently like look up and be like, oh my god, like that's water, I can't cross it, or that's the sky, I'm gonna die, I better get out of here. Like,
that's really cool.
Thing. So yeah, so if you see a lot of houses with like that color, it's like a huge thing down in that area.
That's really cool. Especially it makes sense that it would be on the ceiling of like the porch or whatever, because then it can't even get in at all.
Right?
It's like, what is this?
Or like windowsills. Like if it's the color of windowsills, like, oh, I can't cross through the window. Like, yeah, so that's the boo hag. When I was reading about this, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like there's so much like history with this one. Where I feel like a lot of other creatures, it's just kind of like oh, it's based off this, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
And this is how you get rid of it, and that's pretty much it. But, like, not only does the boo hag have history itself, but also, like, the paint color to deter it has, like, the history, too. So, yeah. I just thought it was cool to also hear about, like, a different culture, like, from the Gula. I don't know anything about, like, African
I didn't know that was a thing at all.
So.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait until after we go through all the different states and stuff. I'm going to want to go through all the different countries and see all the different,
like the biggest
folklore
ones
and stuff from, I think it'd be really, really cool.
That would be cool.
Which, oh my gosh, apparently, did you know that the Loch Ness Monster, in, like, the Wizarding World or whatever, is actually a Kelpie, which is a type of creature in Harry Potter, and it's just the largest Kelpie around is the Loch Ness Monster.
What do you mean?
Like, in Harry Potter lore, or in, like, Wizarding World Hogwarts lore, there is a creature called a Kelpie that looks like the Loch Ness Monster, but, like, their largest, like, the largest Kelpie in their existence is what we Muggles see as the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Loch Ness Monster is based off of Harry Potter. But no, you're saying this Harry Potter thing is like
explaining what the Loch Ness Monster is. Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, before you talk about your thing, we wanted to talk about, this came up while I was reading. We wanted to talk about what happened to MSU.
Yeah.
And we didn't do that at the beginning.
No, I was thinking about that too.
And I didn't want to cut myself off in the middle of the story.
Right.
And so I figured now we could do that.
Yeah, good idea. So the day for us today is February 25th. So a mass shooting happened at MSU on February 13th.
MSU is Michigan State University, by the way.
Sorry. Yeah, Michigan State University, which is where I currently go and where Hunter graduated from. And 3 people were tragically killed, and 5 people were in critical condition. 1 person is home now.
Oh, good.
2 people are in fair. 1 is in stable, and 1 is still in critical condition. That was as of yesterday, at least.
Yeah, but it's been like almost
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks.
And I think the person that's in critical, if I remember correctly, it's the person who they got, like, shot in the back, like, between T6 and T7, something like that. And so he's paralyzed from the chest down.
That is so horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is real or not, but Taylor told me, or maybe you told me, that one of the people who was shot was, like, a foreign exchange student from China or something.
That's that one.
It's that one. They're over here to learn, and then, of course, they get...
I know. Like, there's a huge GoFundMe for them, which is closed now because they made so much extra money than they thought they would, like, triple, because the parents had to drop everything they were doing over and come over here, and they can't speak English, and they, like...
Just everything.
Yeah. So,
I hope this kid gets tuition paid for or something. Like, at least.
At the very least.
At the very least.
It's been very hard. I'm pretty sure I had a class with one of the girls.
Really?
Not, like, this year, but, like, in the past. Because she looked extremely familiar. And I recognized her name, too. But then I, like, convinced myself that I was just doing that to, like, tell myself that I knew them. But, like, I've actually been thinking about it, and I actually do think that we were, like, even if it was, like, a Zoom class when everything was, I just I recognized it.
I was going to say, you recognize these names if you're seeing them.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that one of the names is exactly the name of someone that we used to go to school with. So, yeah, someone we went to school with.
That puts it, like, in perspective. Because I feel like, for me, like, when it comes to stuff like this, I'm one of those people that's like, oh, it's never going to happen to me, which is weird because I'm also one of those people who are so overly cautious about everything.
Yep.
But, like, I'm overly cautious in the hopes that, oh, it's never going to happen to me. And so when you see a name of somebody who, it's not the same person, but if you see a name first and last that's the same name of somebody that you went to high school with.
Dude, my heart dropped. Like, her and I were best friends in like, 6th grade. Like we met the first day of 6th grade at the bus station, and we were, like, best friends for, like, that whole year. So when it was just, and having to return to campus has been just the worst thing that I ever had to do. I thought that I was going to be fine. And then I actually was parked and hadn't even gotten out yet. And I had to call my mom, and I was sobbing, and I had a panic attack and had to take 2 of my panic attack meds. And I some of the professors are being understanding in the sense of extending due dates and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, that's good. But everyone was like, oh, well, the experts are saying that everything needs to stay
who are the experts?
In person.
What experts?
Experts
of school shootings?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, there are.
What? What do you mean?
The best way to approach student life after a
That's weird.
shooting. And yeah.
Sad that we have to have that as a department.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, I don't even know. I expected there to be more police around, I guess, and I didn't see any increase in anything. The only difference that I saw was there were some signs up.
Yep. I was gonna say there's definitely gonna be signs.
But
tiny ones.
Thankfully, my class is nowhere near where these took place, although he was spotted outside of the chemistry building. I don't know. It's been a lot. I had to have a last minute therapy session.
I can imagine. I'm lucky that I don't have to go on campus, but my sister goes on campus, and she's
she wasn't on campus that night. Thank God,
because
she was home.
She had COVID. So she had COVID, and so she was gonna take the week to have to stay home because of COVID. And then the day after we find out she has COVID and I have COVID and we have to stay home, this happens, and we're all like, okay, what are the chances that you get COVID and then you're not on campus?
Yeah.
And she was worried, definitely worried about it before and freaked out because he killed people in the building where she literally has classes, a night class. If she didn't have COVID and he went there the day after, Tuesday instead of Monday, she could have been there as it happened. She could have been hit. She could have been shot. And she's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to walk into the building.
They're still having classes?
I don't know if they're doing classes in there. All I know is that
imagine that they
lot of her professors, she's going to school for education, and so a lot of the professors are much more empathetic because literally they're educators, and so school shootings, she's going to be a teacher. Yeah, they're going to be more empathetic, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of hers are fully online, or just online until after spring break, or you can choose whether or not to come in or not. So yeah, I just think it's crazy that she had COVID and so she just wasn't on campus.
Yeah.
And everyone we know is okay, but somebody in her sorority is friends with somebody who died, and it's still even if it's not you, it's still dude, this actually happened. And it's not just something on the news. Right. It actually happened.
And we we went bowling. We would go bowling at the Union, and we would Jenna lived right next to that building for a while, and we would have dinner there around the same time that things were happening.
Well, we were also hearing, because me and Jade were listening to the live police reports or whatever you call that, and the police were in Snyder Phillips, which we had a room in. We literally lived there. And they were he was there at one point or something, and so they were doing rounds, going to every floor and making sure that he wasn't there, and going to the dining hall.
Clear it all, yeah.
They were clearing this building, and I just can't even imagine however many years ago we were there. If this happened then, we would have be the ones locked in our room while they were doing the what?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking. If this had happened literally just 3 or 4 years before, we would have been on campus when that all happened, because you are, as freshman and sophomore now, forced to stay on campus. Yep. You don't have the decision to not.
I didn't think about that. All those people who all those people who can't go home, they've been on campus since this happened. They don't have any other option to go anywhere else.
I know.
At least Taylor, we're so close.
Right.
People who live in Florida can't just drive home for the weekend to, chill out. No.
Yeah.
We're really fortunate.
So, Yeah, crazy that timing with that happened. And because in the same night, that's when Kyle had to like be gone for a night because of like something for work, and so him and I were FaceTiming when it was all happening, and it was just a lot to take in. But thankfully, I was gonna bring him out, but I don't see him. Thankfully, that same night, I actually got another kitten. So that was a good distraction.
Yes, definitely distracting.
During that night, to be able to, focus on, I had obviously you have to, he was very young and like whatever, so you have to pay attention to that and
safety reasons.
Yeah, so it was like good that I was forced to not have my thoughts all directly on that, but I stayed up for that was a lot. And then just this past Tuesday is when I had to go back on campus, and
I can't even imagine. Like, I feel like I'm also one of those people that I'm like, oh, I'd probably be fine. But then I think about actually going through the actions. Like, I'm driving on campus, and then I go to the parking garage things.
That's it.
Like,
yeah.
The thought of getting out of my car, and like anybody could be getting guns out of their car, like to get ready to go. Like,
that's what it.
I'm like, even before all this happened and I was on campus and parking it in the
parking
spots,
structures are terrifying.
I'm like looking around the whole time. I'm there super early in the morning. The sun hasn't come up yet. Like, that freaks me out. Now, after shooting has literally taken place there, I can't even imagine getting out of my car, walking around campus, hoping for the best.
Well, and that's when it all like hit me. And I was like in my car. I had like 15 minutes until class started. All I had to do was literally just walk across the street to get into the building. Like, it's not even a long walk for me because
the building's not safe though.
That's true. And I was just sitting in my car, and all of a sudden just got so overwhelmed I had to call my mom, and I was sobbing, and then I had to call Kyle after. And I was just like, the whole time I was there, every person that walked by, I was like scrutinizing them and like worried that they had something in their hand, and it's just it got to the point where it was just kind of like, what is the point? Like, I like don't give a shit about my schoolwork at this point, because that's literally what these people were in the middle of doing. They were in the middle of doing their schoolwork. They were in the middle of taking classes. They were in the middle of doing something to get a degree, and now they can't. And it's just hard for me to find the point in doing that when something like that can happen.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. Also, my therapist said that I have survivor's guilt, so there's also that. But something that I was telling that to Hema because she asked how I was doing and how whatever. She told me the cutest thing, that Papa has a lot of survivor's guilt because of the Vietnam War. And so, oh my God, I have to read exactly what she said because it made me almost cry. It was so sweet. She said that Papa has a lot of that from Vietnam. His thinking is that he has to make the most of his life, family, children, and grandchildren, because he is also doing it for all of his friends who didn't get a chance to come home and have family, children, and grandchildren.
That's so sad. So you have to get this degree for the, 3 people who died who don't get their degree, who wasted money and time. Like, I just feel like that's how I see it. Like, they wasted money and time. Like, if they would have known 3 years ago that this was going to happen, like, they could have been doing anything they wanted, and instead they were in a building for school on MSU's campus.
Trying to get... Yeah, and that's the part that's like, if you knew when you were going to die, like...
Yeah.
Anyway, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that's the part that's been really, really hard for me, and it has been really hard to keep my mind on actually, I know I'm so close. And the way my mom put it is that, like, if I was running a marathon, like, I'm at 26 miles, I just have the 0.2 left, and that this is the hardest. This is the hardest part.
It is.
And she was like, and that would have been hard regardless of this happening.
Yeah.
And now that it has, it's like made it even worse. I don't find a point in it. I mean, cool, they're doing the pass or no pass thing for this semester now, but that...
They are?
Yeah.
Thank God, though.
Yeah, but still, there's, like, in one of my classes, there are, like, 2 things that make up 60% of my grade, and if I, like... So it doesn't really matter.
You still have that.
I still have to do it. And like...
And I heard that they're only doing that for undergraduates. So anybody in the graduate program, it doesn't matter. What is the difference between... I'm in a graduate program. What's the difference between me and you? Absolutely nothing.
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
So thanks. That's really helpful. What?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, like how does being a little bit older change how this affects you? It doesn't.
It doesn't. And I'm not older. I'm the same age.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's weird. So dumb. So dumb.
Yeah.
So I have a question about it too.
Yeah.
Are all the buildings locked now? You have to use your key card to get in? No? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Everybody should have to get their little room key, their little name tag
I agree.
to get into any room. That would get rid of all of these issues for the buildings at least. Yeah, you can't build a wall around MSU, but if we have the locks. All the doors do lock eventually. They do lock at some point. Why wouldn't we just do that? That's such an easy thing to do to show that you're concerned for your students. Is like give out all these keys.
Sure, it would be annoying to have to carry your student ID with you all the time again. Oh, fucking well.
I would also feel much safer in the dining halls knowing everybody, because the person who did, this doesn't keep out students, but the person who did the shooting was like a 40-year-old man who doesn't have a room key. So he couldn't have went into that building that night if all the doors were locked.
Right, exactly.
So at least it would get rid of the majority of the population, do you know what I mean? In terms of like, who's going to shoot up this school. Like,
right. Yeah.
They should do that.
Those are open to the public.
No. That's dumb.
I know.
That's dumb.
I know.
Well...
Yeah, and it's especially stressful having only labs because we have the fume hood things open. And when those are open, it's 10 times louder. And so imagine having all 12 of them open while everyone's working on stuff, so you can't even hear anything. It's just very stressful. And one of my professors, I feel like, is being really understanding. They are letting us take like 2 weeks to finish this one last part of something that we had to finish. And... getting rid of one of the projects. So we only have 3 more instead of like 4 or 5 more, whatever. But the other one,
no.
Like, first of all, I was like, well, are you going to have some sort of like online component? Because we had finished all of the traditional experiments. Now it's just like project stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which means that we just kind of come in, do what we need to do, and then we like leave. Like this stuff, we could just be given like an assignment or 2 online.
Yeah.
And so I brought it up.
We've done this before, you guys. We've done this before with COVID. We can
That's
easily
why I was saying, why can't you just, for the rest of the semester, you already have all the stuff to set it up online.
Some people do not care, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to hear that because like one of Taylor's classes that she had, like the teacher had him log on and told them, guys, let's just take these like 3 hours of class I want you guys to do some self-care. So you can either color, you could do this, you could do that, you can stay on if you want, or you can like log off and like do whatever you need to do. So basically you get the day off class. And so Taylor just sat there, logged on and colored for like hours and then like, talked to the teacher afterwards and was like, thank you, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, and then there's professors like yours who don't really care. Not that concerned about their students.
Which is crazy because, so I sent him an email and was like, hey, is there anything like that? And he was like, oh, well, according to, MSU stuff, they're saying we should stay in person, so we're going to stay in person. Plus, this is a project-based class, and you can't really do that online. Whatever. And then at the end of it was like, but let me know if there's anything I can do to ease your anxieties.
This is what
I just told you what you could do
to ease.
So he knows my name. And so on Tuesday, that was the only class I had this week was this one.
Of course.
So I go in and he was like, oh, well, I just want to say a couple of things ahead of time. And so he like pulls out his little like note thing to like talk.
Oh.
And he just, saying like, we want to take a moment of silence, blah, 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 like whatever. But like he acted like he was so concerned and broken up about it, but like his action said otherwise. Like what is actually happening seems just the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. And I sent another email because we have this project that we're doing. We have 2 projects. So
just get rid of one of them at the very least. He can do that. He can do that. If other professors are getting rid of assignments, changing their format, he's not required to do anything. And he's choosing to do all, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
can't blame on the university because we already know that that's not an issue.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. And so so I sent an email and was like, hi, students are concerned. No one wants to send emails to you, but me. But, I was like, I'm not sure how you're adjusting the deadlines for everything, but here's a couple of ideas. And I was like, what if, you get rid of the one project, allow this one to go for a couple extra weeks, and then instead of, because what it was going to be is one partner was going to have to give a 20-fucking-minute presentation while the other person had to do a formal report. And then the second project, you switch partners, but you do the opposite of what you just did.
Okay.
So this one was going to be the formal report, and so the second one was going to be the whatever. So then I was like, so what if you get rid of that one, extend the due date to this one, and allow the partners to decide what they want their final thing to be? Do they both want to partake in the 20-minute presentation and both give it? Would they rather do the presentation and would the other rather do the report, or would they both rather do separate reports? Then
that sounds good.
They can decide what they want to do. And because for me, like the report thing, listen, I guarantee you I'm not ever going to have to get up in front of somebody and speak for 30 minutes. 20 minutes and then 10 minutes of comment. I guarantee it's not going to be something in a formal setting like that. Not for what I'm going to go with. Like, I know that there are jobs that do that. Obviously, don't get me wrong. But for what I want to do, definitely not. So why do I need to practice that?
The formal, like the written report would be more what I have to do.
Exactly. So.
And he said no?
He hasn't responded to me.
Oh. Maybe he's thinking of that. I wonder if he's talking to his colleagues like, hey.
There's this bitch that keeps emailing me.
Awful student that keeps emailing me. What do you think? Get some advice, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I emailed that one. I didn't CC anyone onto that one, but on the one before I'd CC'd all of my chem girls onto it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were like, well, put me on there. I don't want to send an email, but if you send it, put me on there. And I was like, okay. And I brought that up to them too. And like Beth was like, well, yeah, that sounds amazing. I have to give a fucking presentation in 3 weeks and we haven't even done anything yet. So also, I definitely know they're not concerned for the student safety because while every other college was canceling because of weather on Thursday, they didn't.
No, I knew that too. I knew that. Not that it matters because I'm doing mine online, but I got an email on Wednesday and I also got an email on Thursday saying that all classes have to be moved to telehealth, and if they can't, then just cancel classes. And I already knew without even asking you, which is why I didn't ask that. MSU didn't do that.
Yep, because Beth was like, hey, it would be really great if we didn't have to go today. And I was like, yeah, wouldn't it?
No.
But you do. Because, and then Emily was like, yeah, all the other roads were fine, but MSU campus sucked. Campus.
And let's not get into a vent of how campus takes care of the weather because we know for a fact that they do not do anything. So let's maybe not go into that, but we could give a 20-minute presentation about MSU not caring about their students in terms of weather.
Or other things. Yeah. So I just want to be done.
Yeah.
I really don't the project itself is really cool. And I wouldn't mind taking extra time to like develop more with it and be able to like take a little extra time to write a better report and stuff. Like personally, I think that would be really cool. It's just hard to like get excited about having to do this and then immediately having to jump into something else and know that I have to talk to people for 20 minutes.
No.
I literally have been thinking about if I get 100% in this class up until that point, what if I don't do it?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's worth 35% of my grade. So if I didn't do it, I would by 5%. I would pass. We'll see.
I feel like worst comes to worst, I would just ask your professor, honestly.
Worst comes to worst, I would just do that. And because it's a pass or fail anyway, so I can just say that I passed it and not have to have that on my transcript, that I got a 1 point in the class.
Yeah, I would just be worried that like I accidentally miss something up and then it.
Oh well, yeah, I would ask if not doing it would allow me to pass.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And he'd be like, "This bad student, I hate her."
Which is so funny because this is the class that I really impressed him on the first day when he was asking about like soil samples and stuff like that. I was like, oh yeah, actually I do that. I do water digestions and blah 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 blah.
And now he's like,
and now he probably hates my guts.
Well, that's fine because we hate him too. So that's
South Carolina.
That's what was happening. But we're gonna dig back into South Carolina.
Yeah,
no more of Michigan.
We just wanted to talk about it, address it. My therapist said it would be good for me to talk about it on the podcast. Yep. Actually, I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of this happening. I'm sick of the fact that people that went to Sandy Hook and survived that and people that went to Oxford and survived that had to go through this again and survive this. Uh-huh. And I'm just angry that there's been nothing to fucking change it. And there won't be anything to change it. And the fact that people are arguing that it would have made a difference if it was a gun-safe campus and you were allowed to bring guns and more people should be allowed to have guns and that would have helped the situation.
I don't think I understand what they're trying to say by that. Like, no, I don't think adding more guns to the equation, like if you do the math with it, it actually doesn't make sense.
Also, I don't know if you knew this part, but the guy who did it, who, shot himself and...
No, I heard he didn't do that.
Yeah.
No, I heard that people thought that he killed himself, but the police actually shot him and that's how he died.
Oh, the police said that it was a self-inflicted gunshot.
Oh.
Whatever, he went the fucking coward's way out.
Okay.
And he had gone to jail before and had been out on probation. He wasn't on probation currently, but he was like a year ago for having a concealed gun without a license. And you know what that is? That's a felony, which means that you're not allowed to buy guns anymore. But you know what they decided to do? Not make it a felony and make it a misdemeanor charge instead, so he could go and legally buy these fucking guns. I am tired. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of having to deal with this. I'm tired of having to go anywhere and be worried if I'm even going to come back home. And I'm sick of living in a country that really doesn't seem to care. And I'm sick of trying to express that and then getting angry things from people saying that it's because of us. And Christians saying that it's because we don't believe in God anymore. And that's why innocent people are getting killed.
Who's saying that? Where are you reading this?
Like Twitter and stuff.
Oh.
People are saying like, oh, that it's because no one believes in God anymore.
Yeah, I don't mess with religion. I just don't do that.
So I'm just angry and I'm tired of all of it. Especially, it just sucks to know that this just happened and nothing is going to change.
Not even like the campus.
Not even locking the fucking building so students feel safe when they go to class.
Right. Because, the government's always going to fail us, right? But at the very least, you'd think the school would do something other than letting the professors do whatever they want.
I don't know, at least have a security guard, at every entrance to every building. Maybe.
Just anything, really. Yeah.
So that happened. And I still have to go on campus. And it scares me every time.
That's actually crazy. I also like that there's people are trying to put a limit. They closed campus after it happened for that week, and then they're like, oh, well, that should be enough time. Mm-hmm. How do you put a limit on what's enough time?
Exactly. Oh my god, I forgot to mention
these decisions.
I forgot to mention the professor on Tuesday afterwards. I could tell that he wanted to come and talk to me because, like I said, he knows who I am. He knows my name.
Yeah.
I could tell that he kept trying to make eye contact to like come and talk to me, and I was avoiding him because I had my hood up and I was just looking down crying the whole time because I did not want to fucking be there. And I was just sobbing the whole time. And then finally I couldn't escape. I couldn't escape. And he came over and he was like, "How are you doing?" And I was like, "Awful, actually." And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm glad to see that you're here." And I was like, "Yeah, it was really glad. I was like, it was really hard to get out of my car, actually." And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm glad you're here." And I was like, "Thanks." And then he walked out and I didn't see him for the rest of class.
What did he think he was doing?
I don't know.
Like, I already asked you to adjust, and you said, "Let me know if I could do anything."
Yeah.
And now you have the audacity to come up and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Probably not
Dude,
good, considering I just told you that I'm not doing good.
Yeah.
It's weird that you asked, like, twice in a row and not make any changes to it.
Yeah.
Why ask if you're not going to adjust your behavior? Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, and, like, it's just so frustrating because it's, like, as if I had a fucking choice to be here or not. You know what I mean?
So glad you're
here. Like, I'm so glad you're here.
Well, I'm not glad I'm here.
I had to be here because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be letting my partner down and maybe not get points.
I actually am here because of you and you alone.
You're the only reason I'm here right now.
I can't. I cannot believe he had the audacity to come up and ask how you were doing. Probably not feeling any different from when I last sent you that email, you know? Probably feeling about the same.
Because I had
already.
Yeah. And I emailed her and I didn't get a response back like individually, but she did send out an email to everyone saying that they were going to be adjusting things and that we have until spring break to finish this one last thing and like yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And she understood that if people didn't want to return to campus, you know, this past week that we didn't have to. So like Monday, I didn't have to go in because they were just going to be like talking.
Yeah.
Wednesday, didn't have to go in. So I'm going in Monday because we have to finish it. Mm-hmm. But then I don't have to go on Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Anyway, that was a lot.
That is a lot.
That's what I'm going through right now. But hey, we're so close to being done. So I'm talking about the Old City Jail.
We'll just keep telling ourselves things to make it seem better.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Unfortunately.
Yep. So
South Carolina.
South Carolina. This is, I just said, the Old City Jail. Located in Charleston, South Carolina. Apparently, it's not really referred to as the Old City Jail by people that are outside of Charleston. It's just, like, referred to, like, if you call it that, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Because it's, like, famous.
Uh-huh.
It was in operation from 1802 to 1939. That's 137 years. I did the math ahead of time because I knew that I was going to...
Yes, thank you.
Yep. So it had lots of interesting people that it had, you know, in there. Like, in there. People, so like Union officers from the Civil War.
Oh.
High seas pirates that had plundered the area.
Oh.
Along with some people that they like specifically named. So there was a man named Denmark Vesey. He was a black slave, accused and convicted of planning a major slave revolt in 1822.
How dare you fight for your freedom?
So he was put in jail and executed.
Oh.
And then...
I'm so shocked about that.
Yep. Then, this one was interesting. There was a woman named Lavinia Fisher. Have you ever heard of her?
No.
Okay.
I love her name.
Right?
Lavinia.
So, rumor has it that she is said to be the first female serial killer in the U.S.
Oh.
She's not. They don't know where that came from.
Oh.
She has the title of that, but like she didn't actually kill anyone.
I love that.
She was actually in jail and convicted of highway robbery, which was a felony at the time, like whatever. Mm-hmm. Along with her husband, John Fisher. They were in a gang and there were other gang members in the jail.
Okay.
I'm going to show you a picture of the outside of it before I get into
It's really pretty.
It is really pretty.
It's like gorgeous.
Yeah,
I really like old decrepit buildings. Which it's gorgeous.
Yes. So the history of it is that it started, there was like a plot of 4 acres from, I believe it was 16 something ish.
Okay.
That had been put there for the public use, basically.
Okay.
And then in 1802 is when the jail was built. But the jail wasn't the only thing on this plot of 4 acres.
Oh.
It also had a poorhouse, which I've mentioned before, from the Louise Asylum. It had a hospital, and it had a workhouse for slaves.
Only the slaves.
Yeah.
Nice.
The jail itself was 4 stories, and it, on top of those 4 stories, had a 2-story octagonal tower.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, yes.
I like that word.
I know, me too. I had to practice it a couple of times ahead of time. I was like, octagonal? Octagonal sounds much better.
It does.
Anyway, so then in 1850, an additional wing was added. In 1886, there was an earthquake that damaged the octagonal tower. So it just ended up getting removed because they were like, we don't really need it.
Yeah.
And then in 1965, so much later, it was turned into a museum and gift shop.
Oh. Really?
Uh-huh.
The prison?
Yeah. After it was out of, yeah. Tours.
How does this happen, though? So, like, do they transfer all the prisoners somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Or they die.
Okay. Got it.
I don't know if
Or they're
it's
executed.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1970. Maybe.
Hey, they still did. In
True.
France, they did guillotine. The last one was in like 1970, or it was Star Wars was already out by the time that
That's so crazy to think about.
Anyway,
French people.
In 2003 is when tours started happening, like ghost touring stuff. And it has been shown on Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Brothers, and BuzzFeed Unsolved. So you know.
Ghost Unsolved. I just wanted it to be another ghost one. Ghost.
Period, question mark. Okay, so then the hauntings. It is believed to be haunted by the ghosts of inmates who died during their incarceration, or, people who were hanged there. Anything like that. This includes, but it's not limited to, the murderers, the pirates, wrongfully convicted prisoners of war, and, wrongfully convicted slaves. And then just, which are all slaves.
Which is all,
slaves in general that just should not have been there. Those are all the people that haunt this area. Some of the things that happen is that objects will move on their own. There's disembodied voices. There's ghostly whispers that just come out of thin air. It sounds like they're talking right next to you, but there's nothing there.
I don't like that.
Nope. And of course, slamming of doors, because duh.
Of course.
So a really creepy thing happened in 2000. They were renovating it because lead paint, And to avoid that contamination, they had sealed it off until they were ready to actually start renovating and stuff. So after a couple months, they go back in there. Dust is covering everything because no one's been in there for months. Yep. But there are human footprints just kind of throughout the dust.
Ew.
I know.
Dude, wait, pause.
Yeah.
I don't know why this made me think of it, but as I was in my house before coming here, I saw this context. My neighborhood we don't walk around, nobody talks to each other.
Yeah.
So I'm looking outside, and my drive is there's only 2 houses on it, so it's very private. Nobody comes down here. And this young boy is walking down here, and I'm like, oh, I wonder where he's going. And he keeps going through the neighbor's driveway all the way to the edge where there's a field, and he's just standing there, looking around. I'm like, did he lose his dog or something? What is he doing? He's young
I would
picture 10 or 11, and he's in his coat, and he's got his little gloves on. And then he just turns around and walks back, and I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe he lost his dog, and he's looking around.
Yeah.
And so then I'm driving out, and as I'm driving out, I see him. I guess he walked down my drive, walked down the other drive. I think he's just on a walk, because I see him going down my subdivision, and he's dancing in the street. I don't know if he's got music going on.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
A little child having fun,
That's adorable.
dancing down the street, and I think that was like, it was the highlight of my day. It was a very like,
That happened today?
life, yeah.
That's so
I was
cute.
very like, oh, life is cute sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
life can be good. Because
Yeah.
that, like, little boy is just having so much fun, and all he's doing is walking by himself. Like, probably jamming out to music.
Yeah, and that stresses me out, actually.
It does stress me out, and I thought, oh, maybe I should, like, ask him if he's okay. But he was so happy that I was like, he probably lives, like, in the street
Yeah.
Because he was, his footprints weren't going to, like, the big road, so he definitely lived in here.
Yeah, I just would never leave my child alone, ever.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if he's just jamming out to music, what if he doesn't hear something?
Yeah, but, I mean, it's safe.
There was literally a murder that happened in your neighborhood.
Yeah, no, it was down the road from my neighborhood, and it was a son who killed his abusive mother. So it's very different. It wasn't just like a random murder. It was like
That was the one that happened,
abuses
like,
me.
in the garage?
Yeah, the mom, like, was abusive, and so he murdered her.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different.
better,
yeah. Right? Like, it
That's
makes
okay,
it a little
then.
bit better, because he's not just murdering random people.
Yeah.
Only people who abuse him.
Yeah, I get that one.
But I was like, oh, child being happy. I love seeing children being happy.
At first, it sounded really creepy. He just
It was.
stood at the field and just looked out.
Because I was like, he was just kind of like shuffling, just like kind of looking. I'm like, is he just,
Possessed.
he must just have like been walking and then seen it. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to go check that out.
Yeah.
And then he was like, it's just a field. And turned around like,
This is just a field. I don't know why I'm
I
here.
don't know why I'm here again. I'm just going to turn around now. So,
I like it.
yeah. But when you said bare footprints, I was picturing, children's footprints. And I was picturing the child dancing down, like fully in the, like in snow. Like there's snow everywhere. Our drive isn't like plowed. So he's just like
Right.
all in his get up with snow pants and everything. And I'm just like,
That's so
he's having
cute.
fun.
That is very cute.
But back to the ghosts.
Back to the ghosts. While they were also renovating, they saw the ghost of a former prison guard. Maybe he like died from like, I don't know if there was a riot or something like that, but he was there that had a gun. Of course. He was just like patrolling the third floor. When he saw the workers, he started charging towards them. Like, for sprint, like, going, and then right before he reached them, he just like vanished.
Whoa. Dude, can you imagine?
No.
Just like, I don't
Bella,
like...
when we tried to do the running challenge with a straight feet, you pictured that running towards you, but then it disappears before.
Or the one guy from the movie.
That's what we were reenacting.
No, I know, but like his very specific, like, because he's like bigger
Yes.
and like a man. Yeah.
And scary.
I guess Bella's probably scarier than him, actually. No, I take everything back.
I mean,
definitely
her
scary.
concentrated, serious face,
And also,
was
like, her
very
hair is like
scary.
up in a ponytail, and it's just like, no.
And she has
She's very
her
pale.
hands are like very perfectly straight and
It's
like
just
pointed.
Bella.
And
So,
then another thing.
yep.
Another thing happened in 2012. This was during a tour where you're like very encouraged to take pictures and like see whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have pictures of this one specifically, but I have other pictures. But this one specifically, a woman was taking pictures using flash on the first floor, didn't see anything. Then went to the second floor and was taking pictures there without flash this time. And one time she like saw, you know, as you're taking pictures, you like see it before it goes away. It was just like a dark kind of like shadowy thing, and they were just like, oh, maybe it's just because it's dark in here to use the flash. And she was going to like actually upload some of the pictures and stuff. She came across it again and looked closer, and she said that you could see like two faces like in it, and they were actually in the area where Lavinia and John were held. So she thinks that it was them just like
Cute little couple.
saying hi. Because like it looked like one was like it's slightly in front of the other too.
Oh, so like they were having ghost sex.
No, not quite. Just like standing.
Okay.
Ghost sex. Duh.
Duh.
Okay, and then I have a couple pictures that I'll just put up so that other people can see how creepy this thing looks. But this is like the basement of the jail.
The basement looks like a creepy basement. Why are there always empty chairs?
I don't know.
What
That's
is
an
it
empty wheelchair too, specifically.
Yeah,
like
why?
a wooden empty wheelchair.
Why?
I hate it.
I don't get it.
Then there's this one. It looks not real. I'm gonna be honest. It looks very doctored. But supposedly this is so they were taking a picture of one of the cell block areas down the stairs, and there is a ghost.
I mean, it's just like a white,
Yeah. So
it looks like mist.
that is the...
Oh, but is that the, like, the cell? Like the... Oh my god, what do you call that? Are those the metal keeping them in?
The bars?
The bars.
I mean, yes and no. This was, like, locked before,
okay.
you know?
Yeah.
You know how, like, in The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
when they stay at the prison?
Yeah.
Where you have to unlock the cell block area?
Yeah, the cell block area.
This,
okay, that's like the
like,
front door, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because that's like, if that was like the actual cell things, that's like how they used to do it, like the old medieval, like, they used the squares, whereas now it's like normally the bars.
Yeah.
Well, no, not now it's like actual doors. I think prisons just have like actual doors.
Oh. I don't know, actually. I don't know what a prison looks like.
Well, I like to watch shows on Netflix about like people in prison because there's so much drama. Like it's specifically like all girl prisons, all the lesbian drama, like fighting. People are like stealing things. It's hilarious. Because these people live for the drama. Like, they literally thrive off of the drama that they create. Because what else are you going to do in prison? Yeah. And I just think that's funny. But, yeah, I know that it's, like, doors from that show.
That's
shows like that.
Yes.
Or, like, they have, like a one... They have one for, like, kids. Like...
Oh, like juvie?
16 years... Yeah, juvie. More drama.
Oh, yeah.
So much more drama.
That's like high school on, like, times infinity.
They're not, like, supposed to, like, have relationships and kiss and stuff.
Oh, well, and obviously they're going to. Are you kidding me?
So it's, like, they're talking about how they have to, like, be private about it because, like, the guards don't let us do that. And they're, like, in school, too, so, like, they talk about school. Oh, I love it.
That's funny. That's really funny.
But, yeah, they have doors. No, really. I'm sure there are definitely prisons out there, though, that have, like, the bars.
For sure.
Like, there's the up and down bars. For sure.
But yeah, that is the Old City Jail in Charleston, South Carolina.
There's a lot going on in South Carolina.
There's a lot.
Like, there's a lot that I could have covered, too, but this one, I thought
same. I wanted to go. I was like, hadn't done a jail yet, you know? Like, I feel like I do other... I'm trying to do things that aren't like, just houses each time, you know?
I didn't think about that.
So, yeah. Okay, the cards.
The cards.
Who?
I'll go.
Okay.
So I have House 1 is the card I pulled from my astrology deck. And I'll probably just read the keywords in the omen.
Okay.
Keywords for energetics are self-image, the first impression you create, and experiences, because there's no shadow keywords at all for this one.
Oh.
Experiences are emerging as an individual, a new quest, birth, your natural disposition, and how you meet life.
A new quest.
How you meet life?
I kind of like that.
I like it.
Like life is what you make it.
Yeah. Like you have to. So the omen. Your self-image shapes how you see the path ahead and, magically, what the path provides.
So
the unfolding of your life is a collaboration between you and the divine. The healthier your self-image, the more authentic your expression, and the more magnetic you become. Which is so accurate.
That is so cute.
It's like literally fake it till you make it.
Yes.
You have to be your number one cheerleader because nobody else will do it for you. And people who are like that, more magnetic. Do you see yourself as the perfectly imperfect miracle that you are? Or are there parts of yourself you can't accept, shameful corners which cause you to retreat? If you are physically out in the world but energetically shut down, your magnetism will be dulled. But similarly, if you are a natural homebody who nurtures a healthy sense of self, life will find you. Practice seeing yourself with gentle, compassion, loving eyes. Feel pride in who you are and practice stepping into a more authentic version of yourself. As you align with this higher vibration, you'll discover the beauty and abundance the divine has been wanting to bring you.
That's really cute.
Life is what you make it, basically.
Yeah.
And you should make it as good as you can because you're enough.
That's really cute. I remember that I read a thing one time where this woman was like, you know, trying to lose weight or whatever, and she felt like as she was losing weight, like people were paying attention to her more and giving her more whatever. And then she was like, you know, really kind of upset by that, like, oh, my husband is like being more affectionate with me now that I'm skinnier. These people are talking to me more now that I'm skinnier. But then she was like realizing that it was because she was starting to love herself more and be more open and expressive and happy, and then other people were just like drawn to that part of it. And when she realized that, like, and that's exactly it.
Because you could be as skinny as you want or as pretty as you want, and if you're like
a bitch
or hate yourself, like, and you're not like putting a lot of like high energy out there, you're probably not going to get a lot of high energy back.
Definitely
nobody wants that type of like negativity in their life.
Definitely not. So I really like that.
And I feel like I really need to do that. Like, I was like thinking to myself, I like go through stages. Me and you are the same. We go through like phases where I'm like, oh my God, like I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then I'll be happy. And then other times I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I clearly know that that's not how life works because I've already done that. I've already been there and I've already done that. And so it doesn't work like that. So I just need to like remember that like perception and stuff like that isn't real. Like, you need to be your number one cheerleader because like that is gonna like what the card says. That's gonna what draws people to you. So like,
absolutely, I think that's such a big thing too, because the whole fake it till you make it. Once, something that I've noticed, and it was a really cute thing. There was a thing that I came across that was like signs that you're healing, and it was like a whole bunch of like different. It was like, you recognize your triggers, you this, you that, whatever, and I like related to a lot of them. But one of like something that I personally really like have found is the whole faking it till you make it kind of a thing, and like being like, oh well, I am the shit, like I am hot. And I have not thought about my weight in such a long time, and I can't even begin to express how freeing that is to like only be worried about things that like I should be worried about, like, you know, school and finding a job and video games that I want to play. Like, it's not, and I think that has been such like a cool thing that you then start to note, like, you don't start, I don't know how to put it, I haven't been comparing myself to people as much, which is something that I used to do a lot. And something else that I used to do, well, something that I do now is that noticing people for their actual sizes, because I think before I would see anyone smaller than me as like ridiculously skinny and like be really sad by it. But like now I'm actually seeing like the true size of people, and I'm like, everyone is like a normal size. Yeah. Like this is stupid. And that has been really, really, really helpful. So anyway, from the stone crystals, the stone deck, we have Libyan Gold Tektite. It is a 28 million year old Saharan desert glass, only found in the Sahara Desert, obviously. This gem is yellow, but far from mellow. Okay. Who needs it? The navel-gazing and brooding binge watchers, anyone looking to hit the street with some extra swagger, and cancers. So I would get it because I'm Cancer rising.
Okay.
Where to put it? Hold Libyan Gold Tektite, or this card, because I'm assuming it's rare, at your center, so just above the navel, and set some goals. Seriously, make a list. Then call on the fiery, beyond ancient energy of this stone to help you break through the burning desire to binge watch the day away. When to use it? When your get up and go has ghosted you. And then the thing at the bottom says, banish your blahs. That's cute. That's actually something that has been really bad for me lately. And I told Kyle this yesterday. I was going to text you apologizing for like having not like edited the videos in time and stuff. And then I was like, why would I apologize for that? Because I know the reason why is because I have been severely depressed lately and couldn't even do anything. So why would I have apologized for that?
And I sincerely don't care.
Exactly.
Like, this is I feel like we are the only people who can put pressure on ourselves to like produce and do stuff like that. Yeah. So like, we're in it together. Yeah. Like, I just today noticed, oh my God, I forgot to put episode 18 up. Like, I have it edited. I sent you the stuff. Like, I have it ready. I just didn't actually put it on the website to release. And so I just did that today. I was like, it's not a big deal.
No, but it's totally fine.
It's out.
Yeah,
and that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Like,
totally fine.
So, yeah, we definitely need to, I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And so I feel like we've gotten better.
Definitely.
But we can get even better.
Yeah, because I remember when we first started doing this, I would like, in my list of things that I would need to do would be like school stuff. Then it'd be like, and I also have to edit this video and it has to be up by Tuesday. And I would stay up until like 2 a.m. so that I would make sure that it was up in time, but then I would be exhausted going to work the next day. And Kyla was like, what? Why are you doing this? And I got offended at first. I was like, what, you don't think that I should put as much effort into this? And he was like, well, whoa.
Didn't say that.
He's like, I just think that you're like putting a lot of pressure on yourself to do this, and like you don't
Have to. Nobody's forcing you except for yourself.
And I was like, well, I didn't want to let Hunter down, so I have to do it. And I got really upset. We got into a little bit of a fight. But it's good now, and he was right. And I can admit that.
I don't want to let Hunter down. You don't understand.
You don't get it. Yeah. So
It's like, whoa.
he was like, I was just trying
Okay,
to
well, I won't say anything anymore.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. If you want to see us pulling these cards, you can do that on TikTok.
Yes.
You can also find us on Instagram,
Twitter,
Reddit,
Tumblr,
Facebook,
YouTube.
Yeah. I'm behind on the videos on YouTube, but
you can watch the other ones.
You
We still have like 15 or 16 hours up there. I think you'll be good.
Yeah, you'll find plenty.
Yes, you will.
Oh, also, I feel like we should mention that we have been in the talks of doing outside channels besides the podcast. So if that is something that you'd be interested in, let us know.
Yes.
We can get a little more in depth with that in the future, but like that's not something yet. That's just like
summer. That's like
we're gonna get ready for a long time before we release anything, unlike what we did with the podcast where we just filmed it all in like one day and then released it immediately.
Yes. Literally we did. Well, because
we were so excited. We just had to get it
we
done.
had to do it. And it worked out.
Oh my god, you know what's crazy? So, I mentioned I got a kitten. I don't know where he is, or I would show you. His name is Astraeus.
Yes.
And he was born around December 15th. Should I make it the 17th so you guys have the same birthday?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm doing. And so I was thinking about that, and I said this to Kyle yesterday. I was like, you know what's crazy? Our podcast is older than Astraeus.
Ew. Ew. That is so weird. I don't like that. Like, I do.
Right?
But, like, that's crazy to put it in perspective.
I know.
He's a living being.
Yeah.
But this has been around longer.
Uh-huh.
Crazy.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it's been like 4 months, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we're still going strong.
Hell yeah, we are.
We haven't given up.
I know.
Yay.
Which, I mean, hey, I just keep thinking about that one tarot card reading where it was like, just stick with it until March.
Stick with it.
And I really have a feeling that something's going to happen. I don't know how to explain it, but like I have this feeling, and I was watching this other video the other day for like specifically for March of 2023. And it was like ask a yes or no question at the very end. And my yes or no question was, will I find a fun, good paying job that I like actually want to do that doesn't require you to do a drug test in which THC is involved, because after everything that happened with MSU, obviously shouldn't be using it to cope when I need to. Obviously, that's a normal thing. Therapist is fine with it. Don't judge us. Anyway, still find it strange that it has a bad rep and you need to get drug tested for it when you could still go home and be an alcoholic, but that's besides the point. So that was my question. Will I find, a good paying job that I enjoy that doesn't require this in March? And the answer that I got for that said, better. So it literally, she was like, this could mean that, it's a no, but something better is going to come along. So listen, I just have this feeling that something that we're going to be doing is going to take off, because, oh my God, we have to finish this so that I can tell you something else. Okay. We're probably going to have ended this before we do this because we've just been talking for a long time.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed hearing about South Carolina.
And MSU.
And MSU and our feelings and thoughts about that. And the cards.
Yes. And tune in next week for episode
21.
Oh my God. Our podcast can drink after that.
Our podcast can drink. But we'll have to do a shot.
Actually, that time,
because we started with the shots and then we stopped. And so we'll do it for that one. For episode 21, we'll do it.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Bye.